But sometime in our future, you never know where the whiskey market's going to go, Steven.
That's going to be another Jefferson's release.
It could. Crushed crab shell.
It's going to be
ocean aged.
It's going to be called Jefferson's Ahoy, matey. Crab Baron Landmaster.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Welcome everyone to episode 90 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Anthony and Steven. Hello, good fella.
Hello, hello.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you. I mean, people don't know that out in listening land, but this is the first time we've seen each other since the New Year.
It has.
Yeah. It's one of those things where we had, of course, as everyone does, a lot of family obligations over the holidays. There's family, and then there's also what's going on right now, which is more sickness. I think it was probably a couple episodes back, for those of you who are going through the catalog, right?
Yes.
Wherein we lamented and talked about the fact that both of us had been stricken with what we thought was flu. We knew you had it for sure.
I definitely had it.
Well, I thought I did too, but I was not so fortunate because I got it later on. And boy, lucky for me, it was nasty, man. That was not fun. So I'll just be honest with you guys. When Steven told me about his flu experience, I was like, he needs to,
grow a pair,
get it together. Like, it's not that bad. But man, it was bad this year.
Yeah.
I probably was down almost 3 days with the fever, which was a harrowing experience, and you're like, when is this going to stop? But I got healthy, and
Good.
It was happy holidays and Merry Christmas and New Year's and whatever else you want to say. And now here we are.
So enough about the weather talk.
Oh, the weather. You call it the weather.
What is your New Year's resolution?
Well,
let's get right down to it.
New Year's resolution. Okay, so I don't want to be... New Year's resolutions are boring, aren't they?
You want to lose weight, go to the gym.
I want to lose weight. I want to eat healthy. I want to do all those things. I think, in fact, maybe I had said that in a previous episode like years ago when we talked similarly about stuff. But I'd rather do bourbon New Year's resolutions.
Bourbon resolution. Here we go.
Yeah, so... I am actually, you guys have heard me talk in previous episodes about my sort of banter and things that I engage in with the enthusiast markets.
Mm-hmm.
And my New Year's resolution is to not get so caught up in the local crap that's going on. Let me elaborate, okay? I know you're smirking at me over there. The reason why I'm talking about the local crap is because I have a tendency to speak my mind a little bit when it comes to things that I see on the local enthusiast markets that bother me. Mm-hmm. One of the number one things that bothers the crap out of me is people who are simultaneously posting on the national page, I need this bottle for this much money, or I'm selling it. No, sorry, they're selling it for this much money on the national page. Locally, they're asking to buy one for $100 less than what they're selling one for at the same time.
They're just X-posting.
That's the wonderful X post, right? There should be an X post for, hey, I'm trying to scam you over here to sell something natty to make. I mean, the things they're trying to make is ridiculous. Like, people are trying to make like $30, $40 doing stuff like that. That drives me nuts. Like, so much so that like I want to reach through the screen and like strangle somebody. But let's not be so dark. My New Year's bourbon resolution is to stop being so concerned about what other people are doing and how they're scamming. I want to do me, nobody else, and worry about my bourbon and not get caught up in drama. Some people get jealous. So if you're listening out there and you get jealous of what other people are doing in bourbon, your resolution should be to not be so jealous.
So if I were to poll the audience, is this going to last as long as dry January?
Are you saying that you don't think I have the self-control to be able to carry forth with this resolution? Is that your prediction?
I mean, I got you for a solid week and a half.
Yeah, you know me pretty well. So I've been good so far. I haven't done anything that I would say since the new year that has been, snipey at anybody.
I do like your resolution. It's good.
It'd probably be more positive for everybody, right? If I was a little bit more calm.
So I'm going to have a bourbon resolution as well.
I can't wait to hear this.
It's going to be offline.
Okay.
So that's a plus right there.
Yes. Stay away from the online.
And the screen time, right?
Yeah. The screen time and the online.
I'm going to see if I can find myself a good, let's call it a daily drinker.
Okay.
Something that's mid-20s, the mid-40 range.
Okay.
Something I can find everywhere. It's going to sound weird around here. You think you can find everything, but...
Well, you've looked at that shelf lately. I mean, it's got a lot of bourbon on it and a lot in that range.
Yeah.
So you would actually... That's
something
actually a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, something that may not be... Something that's not allocated that I can go almost anywhere in town and buy.
Yeah.
And just something new to explore.
I like that idea because think about right now, even though we've tasted a lot of bourbon on this podcast, there is so much stuff out there that we're probably missing. And how else are you going to find out if you don't try some of those things? And maybe you will find your next favorite daily drinker.
I mean, just think of all the episodes we've done. We've probably not even done a normal liquor store rack.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like a one 4 foot wide by 8 foot tall.
Oh yeah, especially if you're at one of the big box. There's no way.
Yeah, if you go to Total Wine.
Oh yeah.
We haven't even touched one of those, and there's still the entire wraparound aisle of things to try.
Another New Year's resolution. I'm not going to say Total Wine anymore. No, just kidding.
You failed already.
Yeah, I failed. I said it. We said it twice in this episode. No, but yeah, that's a great one. I think there's a lot more exploring to do in bourbon, and it doesn't always have to involve the top shelf or the unicorn or what the new thing is. And I think that's a great resolution.
Yeah, I mean, I can always say I'm going to go get the biggest bottle of the year, but I know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So instead of me losing 100 pounds, then that's not going to be feasible or healthy.
Hey, you could find the biggest bottle of the year if you happen to be at Costco at the right time, like hiding in the bathroom. There's something like that a year ago or something where somebody hid bottles in the bathroom in our local Costco. So who knows? Maybe you get a unicorn in the Costco bathroom.
Yeah, maybe there's like a chicken cock back there or something. So, Anthony, we've had like a plethora of reviews recently.
Oh, yeah. It's been like a flurry.
It's been great.
Yeah.
And so we're going to spread those out into the coming episodes. So if you've left one, we will get to it. But thank you in advance.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the review this week comes to us from Jason, a.k.a. Private Dog Whistlehead. And the title of the review is Boom, You Guys Rule. It's a great podcast to find out about all kinds of bourbons, no matter if they're unicorns or shelfers. It feels like you're part of a fantastic conversation with friends. Cheers, fellas. That is fantastic. We appreciate that. We do think you're part of the conversation. That's kind of how we fashion this. And, man, we really appreciate that review.
Yeah, thank you. And if anyone else wants a shout out, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. The next time we record, we will give you a shout out. So, Anthony, for our first week of 2023.
Is it 23?
I hope I got that right. We have a bottle of Pikesville Straight Rye whiskey.
Oh, yeah. Pikesville Straight Rye whiskey from Heaven Hill. So the bottle date on this product is 2019. The ABV is 55%. The proof is 110. The age is 6 years. And the mash bill is 31% corn, 51% rye, 10% malted barley, so that would be a barley rye. And the MSRP on this is actually $49.99.
Well, that's in my wheelhouse almost right there.
There you go. You're right outside that $20 to $40 range.
The bottle, I do have to say, it always catches my eye for some reason.
Is it that flat front on the...
I think it might be the flat because it's all symmetrical except for the front, and they've flattened the front and put I would say it's almost like a McKenna color scheme.
Yeah, it's very old school looking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we joked about McKenna looking like dollar bill, y'all, but
maybe that's why it catches my eye.
There you go. When you mention the shape of this, what's interesting is if you can imagine taking a perfectly round bottle and just smashing the front end to almost like like the flatness of a book. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the sides look like the rest of the bottle. It's really like an interesting concept. It's very, very strange. Because have you ever seen a bottle look like this in anything we reviewed?
No.
Yeah?
It does provide a strong grip, though. That flat part fits right into my thumb crease right there perfectly.
Oh, I agree. It's like perfect if you don't want to do bottle chugs, which we don't do bottle chugs.
No.
But if you find yourself wanting to take your shirt off and do bottle chugs, this is the perfect bottle for you.
But besides that, it's got like a bouquet arrangement on the front. It's 110 proof. I mean, on the back, it says aged at least 6 years for rye.
Yeah, that's pretty high age rye.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting some goodness out of this for 6 years.
Well, let's hope so. And I was going to say, did you notice on the front, on this little tiny picture in the middle, what it says? You have to look really close. You need a magnifying glass to see that.
Monumental Distilleries?
Yeah, Monument. I think it's Monument or Monumental Distilleries.
Okay.
Which is really funny because when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, like, Monumental Distillery Co., like, why would Heaven Hill put another man or woman's distillery name right on the front of one of their products? And that's because this is not necessarily something that's always been associated with Kentucky. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Well, we can get into that in a little bit, but
That's kind of weird because you see the Pikesville.
did you automatically think Pikesville, Kentucky?
I mean, maybe that's why it catches my eye because
Yeah.
I see it. I know that's a town in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, oh, it's this, name of this, a town in southeastern Kentucky.
That's right. It is. Is Pikesville considered Eastern Kentucky? But it is southeastern, right? It's right on the border, isn't it? Border.
Oh, it's right next to West Virginia.
There you go. It's right there.
It's in
right
that. If you look at Kentucky, it has that tail on the right side.
Yeah.
Really down there in the hills.
Exactly. Well, even though we're talking about it, it doesn't have anything to do with this bottle. We'll elaborate here in a second. But the last thing I wanted to mention about this is the cork. It's actually like the whole entire, you know how some have the wood topper or plastic or whatever. The whole cork is actually one entire, I don't even know how you describe that. It's just all cork.
Yeah. It goes above about an inch above the bottle, and it goes in the bottle, and it's all cork. No metal attachment, no metal piece. It's just all cork.
It's got to be really durable cork.
Yeah, it's going to be better. Which bottle was the one that broke?
Oh, that was way back Wild Turkey, but they're famous for corks that break.
Oh, yeah.
Those savages. Spend more money on our products, but we're going to give you a crap cork. Yeah. Okay, so Stephen, I know a minute ago we were talking about Pikesville and Eastern Kentucky and saying that this bottle has nothing to do with it. But do you know much about this brand history?
Nothing. Like all bottles, I don't know anything.
Hey, don't give yourself. I mean, there's been some things you know about that I had no idea, and so yeah, we won't hold that against you.
I would say it's about the 1% amount.
Hey, you're a 1%.
There you go.
There you go.
Just on the wrong side of it.
Just on the wrong side, exactly. So let's get into a little bit of quick brand history here. So according to Heaven Hill, and Heaven Hill is the owner of this brand, the Pikesville Rye brand began in 1895. It does say it on the front of the bottle. Yep. So this is the OG distillers of this. When I like to say the OG was L. Winard and Brothers Distillery in Maryland. And of course, just like many distilleries, it was forced to close during Prohibition. And after Prohibition was no more.
So you're saying this isn't good enough to help my headache?
Yeah, apparently it wasn't medicinal enough to heal the headache,
Okay.
right? And sore throat, no Pikesville. You got it.
Arthritis in my hand?
Shut down, yeah.
Oh.
Well, they must have done things differently there in Maryland.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, no, we don't do arthritis with the rye. After it was brought back into existence after Prohibition, it was acquired by a guy named Andrew Merle, I believe is his name. And Pikesville Rye was then contract distilled in Baltimore, Maryland at Monumental Distillery. Go
there you
figure.
go.
That's why it's right in the middle. And then at Majestic Distilling Corporation until 1972. It was sold to Heaven Hill in 1982, believe it or not. I was going to say, like, I wondered when Heaven Hill brought this out because it seems more recent to me. And ever since 1982, it's been made in Kentucky. You know, the big thing to say about that is I've always, from the time that I moved here, thought it was associated with Kentucky because it's Heaven Hill distilled. I didn't realize it had a history in Maryland. Did you realize that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. And also, Pikesville, like the Pikesville, Kentucky, doesn't have the same type of history as Maryland Pikesville. What I mean by that is Pikesville.
You mean Maryland doesn't have the Hatfield McCoys?
I guess not. I mean, it's a little too high up in the northeast.
Too highfalutin.
Yeah, a little bit different. Cut out of a different cloth a little bit up there.
Different loins.
Pikesville, Maryland was actually named for an American soldier and explorer named Zebulon Pike. I don't even know what kind of name that is. It's like Zebulon. Is that how you pronounce that?
Your guess is good as mine.
Yeah, so all that history up in Maryland. But did you actually know that Maryland and Pennsylvania, I think it was like either prior to or shortly after Prohibition or maybe all through the both periods, were actually like the largest rye producers in the United States?
Never thought about it.
Well, I think that's interesting because we just think of whiskey and bourbon whiskey for the most be, there's certain people that think that bourbon whiskey can only be like distilled in Kentucky. And I kind of think when it comes to rye being something that we've mentioned previously, being a little bit more of a newer sort of a craze, but actually older and historical, right? That it's just interesting to know that Kentucky wasn't producing rye and hadn't historically produced rye like Pennsylvania and Maryland.
So Kentucky's always been a tobacco state, right?
That's true.
Then
You're right.
when we do corn,
Yep.
we have other cash crops.
Uh-huh.
I'm wondering why rye or why Pennsylvania and Maryland was so good at that. I wonder if is the rye. I guess their climate's probably more suitable for rye.
Well, I don't have what degree would I need to be a rye expert?
I mean, you have about them all, so I don't know.
Would it have to be would it be botany? No. Or would it be like just agriculture or whatever it might be? The little that I know is I'm pretty sure, and if anybody out there calls me out on this, that's okay.
Please do.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. Just like we can.
All you botanists.
Yeah, all you botanists or agriculturalists or whatever we want to call you. I think what I know.
Or just the farmer.
The farmer, yeah, the farmer would know. So if you're a farmer out there, hit us up. I think rye tolerates cold weather much better than other grains would. And so I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the most winter hardy grains. So that might explain why, obviously I don't think you're growing corn in Maryland
No.
very easily outside of a summer season. Maybe you might be able to do that. So maybe it's got to do with that. And that's why they were producing so much, is because that's the most effective way they found to make whiskey.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, and guess what? Even if that's not true, you heard it on the mashup. So
Gotta be somewhat true.
gotta be true. That's what our motto is. If you heard it on the mashup, it's gotta be true.
Well, you want to go for our first notes?
Let's do it. So I'm looking at this, and it's got nice color. It's like copper colored, I would say.
This is very spicy.
Yeah, the nose is spicy. It's earthy. I'm trying to see if I can pick up any other kind of notes from this.
Sweet as well.
Yeah, the sweetness like cocoa to you? Like a little bit of chocolate? Sexual chocolate?
Now, is that Marvin Gaye chocolate?
But it almost has, and so here's where we go back to our, I think I'm getting like a chocolate caramel, and I think that's because...
What kind of chocolate? Are you getting milk, dark?
No, like dry chocolate. I don't know what we call dry chocolate, but it's very subtle. It's like dusty chocolate. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Yeah. I'm getting a fair amount of ethanol, though. Just now I waved this around my left nostril, and it almost got burned up. Right nostril's okay.
For the time being.
You're getting like really detailed notes of how we're nosing this tonight.
I'm getting that chocolate. I'm just trying to pick out
What kind it
what
is.
it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm just trying to pick out if this is like a dark chocolate or just a baking chocolate. I don't think it's like a milk chocolate. I think it feels a lot more substantial than like a simple chocolate.
Yeah, so when you mentioned something really important there, you mentioned the spice. And I think I don't ever think of myself like I ate a spiced chocolate, right? Nobody has do we have spiced chocolates?
Yeah, they got a spicy chocolate.
Okay, well, I've never had them, but I would say when we're talking about spice, which is associated with rye, you said baking chocolates. Maybe it's baking spices in chocolate.
Maybe. But overall, what do you think of the notes?
The nose is just it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
I'm not overwhelmed by it, but then again, a lot of times with rye, it can be deceiving. It might not smell like much, and then
Overall, I mean, it's spicy.
yeah,
And
definitely.
you got some other stuff with it. Well, let's just go ahead and jump into it tonight. Let's not wait.
All right, that sounds good to me. Go in for the taste. Let's see what we got here, since we're curious. Well, it's definitely spicy. What spices are you picking up, sir? Because I'm picking up some spice.
Yeah, it's spice with a not very long finish.
Yeah, the finish isn't amazing.
For as spicy it is, I think it kind of just, after 10 seconds or so, it kind of, goes away.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you my quick rundown here based on what I'm, as you're pouring some more there. Oh, the man's going in for some more. Okay. So this has something going on in it that I'm not massively a fan of. Very, very peppery. Like pepper. Black pepper, white pepper, pepper. But that's more toward the back end of the tasting, or however it coats the palate and falls, getting a lot of pepper spice. I'm going to try to figure out what some of the front notes are that I'm getting here.
Yeah. No, you're right. It definitely has pepper in it.
And I'm a little bit pepper averse. I don't technically like a lot of pepper. I know in previous episodes I've said I don't like cinnamon. I'm finally coming around to liking cinnamon a little bit more.
You don't like cinnamon rolls?
Well, I like cinnamon rolls. I don't like cinnamon stick. And sometimes when I'm tasting bourbon, I
You
get
don't like churros?
I'm not. I guess I'm not. Sorry, I guess I'm not a massive fan. I like cinnamon red hots though.
We went to an all-inclusive last year.
Oh, here we go.
And one of their little, so these all-inclusive, they have like, they're randomly like pop up like a food tent or something just for you to like enjoy randomly. And so the big thing was they had these churro tents, churro wagons.
Okay.
And
that sounds excellent.
So they were either filled with, I think, Nutella-ish or maybe plain. Mm-hmm. And they were hot. And they're so good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, so are you getting any of that? Are you thinking that maybe this is tasting through?
No,
just random observation
I mentioned
based
churro
on,
and that came to mind.
Yeah, nice. Very good. So I think that the front palate, the way that I'm going with this is like, this is a lot of spice. It's a lot of complex spice. And the pepper is overwhelming the flavor profile for me. Maybe, I know I've mentioned this a lot lately, so it's definitely not a cop-out. It's just the way that I'm tasting things, and maybe I need to get my palate checked. But I'm getting a little bit of maybe like the clove again, but the clove is like a little bit more interspersed with more traditional bourbon flavors, like a little bit of very subtle caramel vanilla.
I want to say something, but I'm going to wait until past try by.
That's good. You can keep us hanging, but
yeah, it is spicy. It gets you. I mean, I've already said that, but I don't know if I'm getting much more out of that than that. I mean, there are some flavor notes. I feel like I get some sweetness here and there.
Yep.
Like a mystery, like am I going to get it or not?
That's right. It's there and gone in a
millisecond. I think it's different per sip.
Yes.
Which I guess there's some complexity there then.
Yeah.
If it's kind of surprising me here and there.
Mm-hmm. I have to tell you something. Do you know where I got this bottle?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say a store.
A store, yes. Traditionally, you would buy alcohol from a store, but we live in Kentucky. And in Kentucky, we have a group called the Bluegrass Depot, which I've told you guys about in a previous episode.
And that you're not going to get kicked out of?
So, no, I'm definitely not getting kicked out of this group because one of the proprietors of the group was my good buddy Caleb. And so Caleb started a group of Bluegrass Depot with the idea that a small group of us could, I guess, barter. I like to use the word barter instead of buy and sell over open bottles.
Oh, that's cool.
And so far it's worked out really well. And so one of my good buddies on there, Tristan, he's bought some opens from me and I bought this open from him.
Nice.
And so it was a way for him. He had tried it at some point in time and obviously didn't like it enough to keep it. And he sold it to me. And I've done the same with other bottles that, it's not that I don't like certain bottles. It's the idea that, if you have something, if you have something you tried it, done with it, and somebody else might enjoy it, then why not? So that's a whole idea of that group.
You get half your money back or something.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's a really small group. It's probably like only maybe capped at 200, and it's a really nice, fun experience on a local level. So thanks for getting this. We'll tell you whether we like it or not soon in the past try or buy. So, but that's cool. Thanks for furnishing this bottle.
Thanks, Tristan.
There you go. So one other thing I wanted to bring up real quickly while we're tasting through this and we're going to get to past try and buy here soon is this is coming to us from Heaven Hill. Do you know what other ryes Heaven Hill has in their profile?
Well, they definitely have Elijah Craig rye, obviously.
Yeah, and that was definitely a more recent release that they had. They expanded the Elijah Craig line to include rye. They also have Rittenhouse.
Have you had that, by the way?
I'm trying to think if I had Elijah Craig rye or not.
Because I like Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
And I like the barrel proof.
And that's the rye, I think, is at 90 or 94 proof. So it might be more palatable than the 110. No, it's theirs. I think it's theirs. It's probably actually the same, as is the case with a lot of Heaven Hill brands. They're all coming from Heaven Hill. They have similar mash bills and similar lineage, but they taste different because of the way that they blend stuff and store things. They also have Rittenhouse rye, which is a little bit more of their house brand.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and then they've done some of the Parker's releases with rye.
I forgot about Parker's.
Yeah. But Parker's is like, that's the unicorn, right? That's the once a year or twice a year release, however many times they do it, where it's like they just do something special. Like I think the last time they did a rye was like an extra char rye or something like that.
Wasn't Parker's just sitting on the shelf just like a year ago?
No,
I'm not saying sitting. Maybe like 2 years ago. Wasn't it just like available?
Yeah, what you're thinking of when they had the orange curacao finish.
Okay.
People didn't like that initially very much. The purists hated it, and so that one sat pretty hard. And now it actually has picked up a little bit. People appreciate it a little bit more than they did back when it released. But yeah, that's what you're thinking of.
Okay.
You could get that one on the shelf.
I've seen it on the shelf.
Pretty easily.
Now I get it. I know we don't see it on the shelf, but
oh yeah. Well, you know what I think that Heaven Hill needs to do? They need to come out with mellow rye to rival mellow corn. Yeah, buddy. There you go. Why not? I got bad ideas, but it's all good.
Maybe I can add that to my... Well, it's probably going to be below my threshold of my minimum that I'm going to spend.
That one's under $20, so you can't try it for your daily drinker. But, hey, I hate to knock mellow corn.
Maybe daily mixer.
Yeah. Mellow corn is not terrible. I mean, it's not good, but it's not terrible. Yeah. Not great, not terrible. Get a not great, not terrible rating.
Well, on that rating, Anthony, would you pass, try, or buy on the Pikesville Straight Rye whiskey?
I am so glad you asked me. I didn't think you'd ever ask me.
Eventually I would.
You know what's interesting about this one? I remember the first time people started talking about Pikesville Rye is the best value age taste proof rye on the market. And that was probably a little bit after I got really serious about bourbons, around 2017-ish. And I bought my first bottle and really enjoyed it, but I never bought it again. And it's the first time I've had one since then. And I think I've pinpointed why I'm going to be a solid try on this. Mm-hmm. Because it does enough for me, but it doesn't stand out.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing standing out about it, but I do think, and I've never tried it like this, and I'm going to probably try to do that maybe this weekend with the rest of this bottle, is a mixer. Like, I think it could be a dynamic, potentially. I don't know. What do you think?
You kind of almost stole the words out of my mouth.
Oh, my bad.
This is what I was teasing towards.
Okay.
Since this thing is spicy forward, how would it do with a mixed drink?
Okay. Are you thinking of a certain mixed drink, though?
No, I'm not. But I know the bottle might be a little on the high side to start mixing with it, price-wise. But since it is so spicy, I'm wondering how it would do in like a mixed drink of some sort.
Yeah, like maybe an old fashioned, right? Yeah. Or other of your favorite bourbon cocktails. In fact, it's been a while since I looked at Heaven Hill's website, but I think they actually have some sort of a drink recipe specifically for this.
Okay.
But I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. So even they are not saying if they're putting a mixed drink recipe, which a lot of companies do, but if they're putting it on their website, they're not hiding from that fact. They're not like saying, "Oh, how dare you not sip our whiskey neat," right? But if
they're saying mix it with stuff so you drink it faster. That's what they're saying.
And then you buy more Pikesville, right? Yeah. You get in your car, you drive to Maryland, and you buy that Pikesville, right?
Along with crab.
Yeah. You know what's funny? When people say, "What's a Maryland rye?" I think to myself, it's got to be a rye aged in like barrels with crab shells, right?
Oh, sounds awful.
That would be awful.
I mean, I like me some crab, but just the smell of seafood in your drink just sounds awful.
But sometime in our future, you never know where the whiskey market's going to go, Steven.
That's going to be another Jefferson's release.
It could. Crushed crab shell.
It's going to be
ocean aged.
It's going to be called Jefferson's Ahoy Matey Crab Baron Landmaster.
Oh my God. That's amazing. The Crab Baron Master Rye?
Yep.
Holy cow. Oh, dude. I mean, literally, like, I don't think, See, that's why you got to trust us for your bourbon marketing needs, too, because of ideas like that, right? Remember when you called me the Bourbon Jackal a couple episodes ago?
I do.
Freaking brilliant.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY. Also, please rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, keep it neat.